Hello and welcome to Coach Hoots' Hot Corner for this week of February 9th, brought to you by BCHornetsports.com. Hi, I'm Jared Hoots, and on this week's episode, we're going to take a look at the past week in Hornet Sports, what's on tap for this week, and on the high horse, we're going to dedicate this high horse to the coaches' wives that are out there. Our Lady Hornets basketball team lost the rout 56-49. The Lady Hornets had the lead at halftime, but the conference championship rout Lady Rockets were too much down the stretch. Katie Flynn led the Hornets with 18 points. She scored 14 points in the first half, while Belle Cook also chipped in 18 points, and she scored 14 points in the second half. The girls beat Triopia 57-46 to win their 19th game of the year. The Trojans came out with that senior night energy and jumped out to an 18-6 lead on the Hornets. Then the Hornets buckled down and took the lead and never looked back. The Hornets defense held them to 5 total points in the third quarter to seal the lead. Belle Cook scored 22 points for the Hornets. The IHSA seeds were out, and the girls' regional bracket looks like this. They are part of the Havana sectional, and they are going to the Liberty Regional. Monday, February 10th, game number 1 at 6 o'clock, Minden Unity takes on Bushnell. Minden comes in at 14-12, and Bushnell, Prairie City Avon is 15-12. Game number 2 at 7:30 is the Liberty Eagles at 19-10 versus West Prairie, who is 0-13. Looking at the Tuesday's bracket, Lewiston, which is 27-1, will play that winner of the Minden Unity Bushnell game at 6 o'clock. Then Our Lady Hornets will play the winner between Liberty and West Prairie on Tuesday at 7:30 at Liberty. Will not say that it will probably be Liberty looking at the records off the bat and looking ahead to that game. Liberty has lost to Brown County twice. They have lost by 19 the first time they played them. Then they lost by 7 the second time they played them. So we're probably looking at a Brown County Liberty game in the second round at Liberty there. And then if the Hornets could get past them, looks like they are going to play, my guess would probably be Lewiston, barring an upset. Lewiston coming in at the 1 seed, 27-1. And I believe they are, if not the 1 seed in the state, they're number 2 in the state in that bracket. Our Hornets are playing really well right now. A young squad that is 1 win away from the Magic 20 wins right now. And right now they're playing with a lot of spunk. They took a very good Illini West Charger team to 4 points. Had the lead on a very good route squad also. Being around these girls, they are young and they are hungry right now. And I wouldn't put it past them to pull the upset. Pulling for the Lady Hornets in this one to come up with the upset. They have a tall task in Lewiston, but I think right now these girls have the right mental attitude to get it done, and we wish them all the best of the luck come regionals for our Lady Hornets. You can catch those games, I believe, on BCSHornets.com. Once again, Steve will have those games for you. Taking a look at the final conference standings for the girls, Route comes in at 7-0. Right now they're 26-2 overall. Carrollton right now is in second place at 4-1 with 20-5. Winchester West Central is 3-2. Brown County was 4-3. Triopia was 3-3. North Green was 2-5. Calhoun was 1-4. Greenfield 1-5. And that's it. I know some of those records might be a little incomplete, but that's how the conference standing shakes out for that one in the girls' side. Yeah, the boys round here. The Brown County boys basketball team won 47-42 versus Southeastern. Gavin Miller had 8 points in a row and scored 14 total to lead the Hornets. The boys' game versus North Green that was supposed to be played on Wednesday was canceled due to the weather and moved to February 19th. Then on Friday, the boys lost 61-45 to Pittsfield at home. The boys' schedule this week looks like this. On Tuesday, 1,000-point scorer Kyle Cosgrove and his Western Wildcats are in town, who are 14-12. The Hornets are looking to avenge their 52-50 loss to the Wildcats at the North Green tournament. Then the Hornets travel to 16-7 route on Friday. The Hornets lost to 59-48 at the Winchester tournament. Taking a look at the conference standings right now, West Central sits alone at the top of the conference right now at 8-0, 25-1 overall. Route is 6-1, 16-7 overall. The Triopia Meredosia Virginia Chambersburg Trojans are 14-1, 16-8 overall. Calhoun is 19-4 overall, 3-1 in conference. Brown County is 3-3, they're 9-12. Greenfield Northwestern is 4-4, 12-10 overall. North Green is 2-3 on the conference, 10-15 overall. Carrollton is 1-5, 5-16 overall. Greeksville is 1-5, 5-16. ISD is 0-4, and they're 2-9 overall. And Pleasant Hill is 0-15 and 0-5 in the conference right now.
Oh, you didn't know? If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
In wrestling news, Brown County's own Luke Hedden, who wrestles at Camp Point in the co-op, had his sectional meet this weekend. Luke wrestled at 182-pound class, and he defeated Cole from West Hancock by fall at the 121 mark. Then ended up losing to the third-place consolation bracket to end his season. Congratulations to Luke, and I think this only opens the door for more kids from Brown County to compete in wrestling over at Central. On this week's Hoots' High Horse, we're going to talk about being a coach's wife. And since it's Valentine's Day on this Friday, I thought we would dedicate this section out there to all the coaches' wives that are out there listening. Besides every great coach, there often stands an even better woman, and it's really hard to have one without the other. So I came up with a few qualities of a great coach's wife. Number 1, they are comfortable being independent. Coaching is a profession that requires late nights watching film, scouting trips, coaches meetings, and sometimes the late nights at the office. A coach's wife is someone that understands the importance of having you at home around the kids, but also that it's important that they are able to run the house, get the kids to their various lessons or sports practices while you're away at practice or still in the office. That also means they will let you know when they need a night out so you can take over for a while as well. Number 2, they understand the enormous time commitment that coaching requires. Being a dedicated coach goes well beyond the time put in at practice and in the weight room. It means being there when the kid calls in a bind at 1 a.m. because they have no one else to talk to. It means picking them up when they can't find a ride to the weight room during the off season. It's a serious time commitment, and life is a lot easier with someone that understands that. Number 3, they understand that your players become an extension of your family. As coaches, we pour our hearts and souls in the development of high school kids on and off the field. And as they become an extension of our own family, when they are hurting, you hurt. When they experience personal or athletic triumphs, pieces of you deep down inside does as well. You open up your home to them for meals and a comfortable place to be at. Number 4, they are flexible and understand things don't always go as planned. As a coach, you're constantly on call without really realizing it. So when your phone rings or text message during date night, or while you're watching and coaching your kid's youth game because it's your athletic director or a concerned parent, they understand. Another example of this is when the game gets canceled and rescheduled for that night that you're going to go out on that special date. However, it is also important to know that it doesn't necessarily mean they're happy about it. Number 5, they understand the pressure and responsibilities you've undertaken as a coach. They support you unconditionally. Sometimes you're going to come home frustrated, annoyed, disappointed, or at your wit's end about something like that. In the grand scheme of life, at the end of the day, it really isn't a huge deal. When you come home wearing your emotions on your sleeve, your spouse is there to support you, to help you put things in perspective, and sometimes dish out some brutally honest advice like suck it up or quit your whining. Number 6, they comfort you during the low times and the first to celebrate with you during the high times. Coming home to someone at the end of the day is there for you after a tough loss is just as important as having someone there ready to pop that champagne with you as soon as you walk in the door after a big win. They see the grind and the toll it takes on coaches, and sports tend to be cynical, so it's important to find someone that is there for you for both. Number 7, they find creative ways to embrace your players and make them feel cared for. Some of the wives, this means inviting the team over or position group over to the house for a cookout, which is a large amount of food and a large amount of work. Or maybe for a pool party. For others, it means packing snacks for the games, baking cookies, or treats for film sessions. or simply just showing up to practice and walking off the field with a player that seems to be having a rough time lately and offering a gentle approach and some advice. Great coaches' wives find a way to make players feel like they're loved and cared for. And for many kids, that's a tremendous sense of motivation because they don't want them to let them down or disappoint them. Number 8, they just get it. Sounds like a bit cliche, but a good coach's wife simply gets it. What exactly does that mean? They understand your itch to go to the game an hour after bringing home your firstborn from the hospital. They don't require an explanation. They just understand your bitter disappointment after a loss. They stock up on caffeine, leave you alone for 30 minutes after the game, or they bring your kids by for a family lunch just to get your mind off things. Number 9, there is someone that you are willing to make sacrifices for as well. This one may be the most important one of all. Relationships don't work if one person is making all the sacrifices. You got to understand while you're teaching life lessons to young men, your significant other is at home making a ton of sacrifices and in many cases is the glue holding the family together. You have to be able to recognize that and make some sacrifices yourself in order to hold up your end of the bargain. Number 10, she holds you to be accountable and makes you want to be better. The best coaches' wives out there bring out the best in their spouses. They make them want to be better husbands, people, and coaches. And when you're not living up to the potential, she's not afraid to call you on it. She holds you accountable for a variety of other things, including your commitment to your family, team, staff, their families, and most importantly, your health. Now that we went over some great qualities of coaches' wives, now I'm going to share some thoughts that coaches' wives want people to know. First one is, sports is our livelihood, but it's not our life. Yes, sports is how we make a living, but we do not eat, sleep, breathe, or want to talk about it 24/7. It is always funny to me that people find the oddest times to talk about the game, like at the grocery store, the church pew, vacation. Nobody, not even the coach, wants to bring up the fourth quarter play call while he's just trying to buy mac and cheese and take it home to fix it. Number 2, a coach's family makes time and sacrifices for team success. The coach loves the game and works so hard to being the best he can so the team can be the best they can. Between practices, games, and watching film, many of their own kids' games and activities are missed. People can see him for 2 hours on Friday nights and complain publicly and have no idea what the coaches sacrifice privately. Number 3, her husband's job depends solely on what 14 and 18-year-old kids decide to do. The coaching staff must prepare 40 teenagers to play together as one unit despite what might be going on at home, in the classroom, or with the girlfriend. People say all the time how frustrated they are with their own moody teenagers because they can't get their own kid to clean their room, be respectful, or come home at curfew. Yet we expect coaches somehow to get perfection out of these teenagers on the field, on a Friday night, on the basketball court, or on the baseball field. It really should be called more of a miracle working than coaching. Number 4, coaching families don't have a lot of close friends. Coaches have so many walls put up when it comes to relationships because people can't separate their personal life from their professional one. We tend to be guarded now because we have been burned before. People want to be friends until their child sits on the bench, their child gets disciplined, or we ain't winning anymore. Professional coaching can lead to professional loneliness. Number 5, the coaches are harder on themselves than other people ever could be. Being around coaches for a long time, I have never met one that wasn't harder on themselves during the loss than anybody else. They stew over missed calls, they lose sleep over personnel changes, they are constantly questioning what they could have done differently. There is no email, phone call, or personal attack that makes a coach think, "Oh, I've never thought about that before. Thanks for bringing that to my attention." Lastly, I'd like to wish all the coaches' wives out there a very happy Valentine's Day, and thank you for what you do behind the scenes. I especially want to thank my favorite coach's wife out there and the best coach's wife out there, my own wife, Sarah. Thank you for being the best coach's wife that anybody could ever wish for, and happy Valentine's Day. This has been a production of BCHornetsports.com. This is Coach Jared Hoots signing off. Get out and support your BC Hornets this week, and remember, make sure you're living life like a 3-1 count. See you next week.